Hi, everybody. How are you today?
What's up,
We've,
everybody?
we've had a busy day, okay? I didn't want to come on today, but Perry insisted that we got to talk about the Monique story.
Yep.
So we're going to talk about that. I didn't really want to talk about it because it's a very sensitive topic. It really is. But we're going to talk about it. We're going to tackle it like adults. And then since I'm here, I might as well tell you guys all the dirt that's going on with Porsha Williams, Candy Burris, what's his name? Andy Cohen,
Um,
and other producers. I'm going to put it that way. And I'm not holding back today because I didn't want to come on. So as you know, so why should I hold back? Because I'm tired. Okay. So that's what we're going to talk about. So let's get into it because this is a lot. Okay. So Porsha Williams. Oh, child. Now, Pierre, you always love Porsha.
always have.
You from the very beginning. And do you remember back in the day, she didn't have the best reputation? Okay,
No.
they accused her of taking Fallon's man. Child, this was a mess. Okay, but she's gone from what's the word? From the bottom to the top. Okay,
Exactly.
it is what it is. I can't stand that we live in a superficial society and we will give people respect if we think that they got money. But it is what it is. Okay. Now I happen to like Porsha. I really do. So Porsha was she had a spinoff. Oh, I can't think of the name, where she had Simon and
Yeah, what's the name? I can't think of the name of it.
can't think of the name. Dennis on there on the show, and we were like, we would say that's Fallon's man, and this is gonna fall apart. And what the hell is Porsha doing? And they were arguing. It was a hot mess.
Yeah.
Okay, it was a hot mess. And fast forward, her and Simon are still together, and now she doesn't really need Bravo's money. Porsha is the richest person on Atlanta for sure. And I'm going to think about the franchise. Let me think. Can we think of anybody richer than Porsha? Porsha
Just the
Family
way.
Matters, somebody said in the chat. That's it.
Yeah,
That
I mean,
was.
like, oh yeah, Porsche family value. It matters. But you know what?
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, cast wise, like, I mean, you got some of them like Lisa Vanderpump and stuff like that. But Portia, I'll just say this: she has money now that she's
She has
retired.
money. And
I
she.
mean, and she went from the hot dog stand to the mansion with the pool. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's keep it real. But people dogged her out. Oh, Portia is trashy. She's this and that. Oh, look at her. She took her man. Look, if Fallon wanted a man, she would have kept a man. But that's on her. Portia
look,
ain't did no more than with the rest of them. The rest of them done went through men.
look what the chat is doing. They are messy. Unfortunately, we got to include Candy in this mess. Now, members only, I did tell you guys that I was going to tell you the news first, but I'm going to drop some news here about what's going on behind the scenes, and then I will give you the rest. Hopefully tomorrow morning, maybe late tonight, because it is a mess. And I said I wasn't going to talk about it, but I didn't expect Porsha to come out this soon and say that she officially works for Bravo again. So she made her announcement. This is how she did it. Let me see. I thought they got time because I'm being told that they're going to start filming in 2025, but I guess they said F it. Let's just get this done now.
Mhm.
And so I was totally caught off guard. And I really just at the last minute say, oh, we got to include Porsha because this is a mess. So this is what she put on her social media. Okay, that's not working. Hold on. Here we go.
Can't hear it.
You can't hear it?
Uh-uh.
Oh, okay. She announced that she's coming back to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I just put this on the docket at the last minute. So she's coming back. Now let's not forget, let's follow the story. People say you're a Candy hater. I hate Candy. I ain't got time for that. This is a story, okay? They told Candy and all the whole group that they were gonna reboot and they were gonna not bring any of the old cast members back, right?
Yeah.
This is a slap in the face to Candy. It really is. And I didn't expect it to go down like this. Thank you, Cece, for becoming a member. Okay, so they tell Candy in the group, oh, we're recasting. We're going to do like we did the Real Housewives of New York. We're going to bring back everybody. Okay. And then they heard whispers. Well, we might bring some people back. Now, what they end up doing is getting rid of Candy and then bringing back everybody except Sonya. New girl's gonna replace Sonya. Ming Lee. I said I was gonna give her a picture yesterday, and I forgot. And Porsha announces today that she's coming back. So not only is she coming back, let me tell you, Porsha is in the driver's seat. She made sure she was the highest paid. Okay, she has a clause in her contract. This is unheard of that she can go work at other networks. Okay, like she's the boss. Also, if she wants to produce, not just be on appear on the show, produce spinoffs, she can. Porsha Williams is officially the boss.
Yep. She's truly the capital BOSS. And let's keep it real. And she's for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, people down my girl, but look at her now.
She's the boss. She was supposed to film a spinoff for Bravo when she got married to Simon. They wanted her to do something. They were going to pay for the wedding. She said, you're getting on my nerve. Beat it. She kicked Bravo out and had her own multi-million-dollar wedding. She knows she does not need Bravo and that she's in the driver's seat. And they're going to give her everything she wants, including bringing back Phaedra. And listen, the stories, you think this is bad. So this is bad for Candy. Candy has to realize I was lied to. She has to realize my enemy's coming back, Phaedra. And this is not the end of it, Candy. There are more heartaches to come. I cannot tell you now, but it's more heartache to come. Not only that, they get rid of me, but they bring on the girl that I recommend, my good friend Ming Lee. Now, Bravo's just becoming cruel. Okay, it's becoming cruel. But let me tell you something. Hats off to Andy Cohen because he has to revive the show, and he has to do it by any means necessary. Because if Roa fails again, that's his job. Okay, so this is why you should never. I told you yesterday, never believe your boss. I don't care what job you're on. You work for your pharmacy technician. You don't believe the head technician because bosses aren't meant to be your friend. And where Candy made her mistake and Nene made her mistake is they start thinking Andy Cohen was their friend. And Andy Cohen cannot be your friend because he has to do what's in his best interest, and that's listening to NBC. Okay, so he had that. So they're trying to do a whole makeover on Bravo, and they have to. In the meantime, I'm going to say this in the very gentle way because a lot of you get mad at me because I'm so blunt and upfront, and I don't mean to piss anybody off. I'm telling you the facts. In the meantime, OWN Network is going to shit. It's gone to hell. Hell in a handbag. It is the worst network. Now, I'm not going to use names because I don't want to get involved. I'm just telling you guys what's happening. You have bloggers wanting to sue producers over there at OWN. Somebody asked me, should I sue this producer? I said, what are you asking me? What? Like, why are you asking me? You have cast members suing bloggers. Okay, this is mad. And then you got producers being accused of striking bloggers' channel. When I tell you OWN is a disaster, you've got cast members that feel like some producers aren't giving them enough attention because they're worried about being over there on Bravo. They feel neglected. They're getting mad at their producers. They feel like their producers don't have faith in them. So then they go to producers and they complain about these bloggers. And according to the rumors, these producers is striking other people's channel, but still worried about what's going on at Bravo. Child, when I tell you it's a mess, it is a mess. And I don't understand this. Now you have cast members that are working one-on-one with bloggers.
Yeah.
How do they expect this to come out right? This is a disaster. What were you going to say, Perry? I cut you off.
Look, I was going to say this. Nobody can expect, if I'm a father, I have a son. I can't skip my son's football game to attend the neighbor's football game. Their son. I'm just saying, like, it's a sign of like a certain disrespect, and people will feel that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sitting there instead of talking good things about my wife, I'm talking about the girl next door. You just can't.
You also have producers getting YouTube channels, but that is all up in other people's business. It's a mess. So a little bit, I gotta give Andy Cohen and NBC a little respect because they're trying to stop the circus.
Uh-huh.
Reality TV can become a circus
It
real,
is
real
right
quick.
now, yeah.
And when I first came in here, you did not work with cast members because they had a list that Bravo would let you interview, and that list was very, very limited. Well, I think they got the list because of situations like this. You got cast, you got bloggers suing producers and producers striking bloggers' channels, and then producers worried about what's going on in another person's show and giving them all the love and attention. Yeah,
Well, no, I'm with you though. Like, I mean,
it's a mess.
the bottom line is I think they get to have some kind of soft line to where if you work for my network, say I'm Coca-Cola, if you work for Coca-Cola, I'll be damned if you're gonna be out there promoting Pepsi. You just ain't gonna do it. And that's what's going on. And if I was a network, I would go ahead and cut that clean. Matter of fact, you wouldn't even be able to have a YouTube channel and mention. Now, you know, it's privacy. You can do your own thing individually when you walk work, but you wouldn't be talking about my product at all. Like if I was on the Housewives, you wouldn't be able to talk about the Housewives on your show.
It's just a mess. It's just a mess, and people in the chat are blaming Oprah. Somebody ain't giving own no love. It's a mess now. Oprah doesn't own it anymore, but she's on the board. And somebody needs to step up and straighten out that network because if not, they're going to self-destruct. That's why Andy Cohen's doing the things that he's doing, but he needs to go back to no interviews during the season because storylines are getting out. Anyway, so they knew they had a mess. And so now Porsha's in the driver's seat. She's asking for the unheard of, and they're giving it to her. It's a mess.
If I'm paying those reality stars that much money, whether it's doing the season or not, because like you putting this product out for the people to see these housewives while the season is running. I wouldn't allow no of mine unless it's approved by me. It would have to go through any interview outside that season. Now, they can go to the county fair, do what they want to do, but you ain't gonna be talking about my show without my permission. What's up, Bonji?
I can't, Bonji. I can't. I'm just telling you the mess that there's going on because I don't want to be involved. Okay, when y'all start talking lawsuits and all of this craziness, that's a mess. So, OWN got to get their act together, and then Bravo, they're trying to restore everything. And Candy, okay, no one's gonna believe anything I say about Candy because they know that I didn't like her and I drug her. Okay, right. But I really mean this. That's got to hurt.
It's devastating. Look, Sharrell.
Look what your bestie did. Andy Cohen can't be trusted, but I'm telling you guys, any job, don't trust your boss just because his agenda is different than yours. Go ahead, Perry. Sorry.
Look, Sharrell, it's devastating. I mean, like anytime deep in your heart you feel betrayal, as if you was crossed, kicked to the curve, and somebody sit you down. You know what? Are we gonna take time off? It's almost like if you dating somebody and they come and say, "Hey, you know what? Things is getting real serious here. You know, I ain't really feeling myself. I need some time away. You know, some time to myself. Just do some soul searching." And then this is Thursday night. On Saturday night, he had a club with a new girl. Like, that's exactly what Andy did to Candy, in my opinion. Oh, we need some time off.
And I'm telling
you things. And then now, you know, Porsha back, all these people back. The next
Phaedra's back.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
They didn't fire anybody but Sonya. It's
Mhm.
just a mess, but this is a cautionary tale, not just for Candy. This is for current housewives. Andy's not your friend, he's your boss. So, and boss have to make decisions that you sometimes don't agree with.
Right.
Okay? For if you work at McDonald's, anywhere, your boss is your boss.
Yep.
Don't cross the line. I'm just trying to tell you, no fraternizing on the job. You guys got to remember. So it's a mess over there. Owen is falling apart. So I'm going to try to do a video tomorrow with Perry and Freddie, if Freddie's available. And there's more dirt. There is more dirt going on. It's a mess. But right now, Porsha Williams in the driver's seat. She's the highest paid for sure on Atlanta. And she went from, we dogged Porsha. We used to call her, less a hoe. They used to call her bad things. And now she's the only true one married on that show that I can think of.
Well,
And the only one that's really living a true housewife lifestyle. She does not have to work. So whatever happened in the past is the past. Right now, I'm going to give Porsha her respect. She signed up
thank
and
you.
she made them pay for it.
Thank you, Sharrell.
And that's
And
how
thanks.
every housewife or any reality TV star or even a movie star, you have to negotiate what you want up front and treat yourself like you're the boss. Don't let them shortchange you, because if you do, they will.
Yeah, thanks, Sharrell. I appreciate it. Thank everybody in chat that, I always looked at Perry thinking this girl was, overrated. Now y'all see what I'm talking about.
You
She's a
are right.
starer. She's a starer for real, right?
Uh-huh.
And if people wanted to call her that HO word, she a high paid one at this point and living the best dream. Go ahead, Sharrell.
Uh Jess says, I am so happy I finally caught alive. Yay, me too. Because this one's going to be crazy. I watch you and Perry all the time. Love y'all. Keeping up the good work. My Vegas neighbors. I'm,
Yeah,
I'm,
there
I'm in
you
love
go.
with
That's what
Vegas.
I'm talking about.
So this whole thing about Portia's a mess. Um, Other housewives look at it as a learning lesson. Very sensitive topic, because we, at this point, I'm not going to even drag Candy because I never seen this coming. Like
It's no need. It's no need to
this.
drag her. I mean, Andy Cohen did a good enough job on his own.
Andy Cohen begged for Porsha to come back, begged, and she made them pay for it. And you can't blame her. That's a real boss. She's a boss. Bocce's gonna make me weak in the knees. Did you? She
No,
did steal
no,
Simon
no,
though.
no,
Okay,
no, no,
y'all
no. I mean, see,
messy.
stealing's when you go through the back window. She walked through the front door and took him. He was unappreciated by filing. She just went in there and took him. If she ain't gonna, deposit that check at that bank, Portia said she would. Great
Anyway,
job, Portia.
anyway, it's more to come. This is not the end of the Bravo saga, and this is just beginning of the OWN saga. I have never heard of bloggers wanting to sue a producer. I'm not getting in that mess. It's a mess. I never heard of a producer having a YouTube channel worried about the other people and not about it.
And then they said the blogger saying that the producers are striking channels.
That's what they're
Oh,
saying,
damn.
that the
Yeah.
producers are so hold on, I'm turning my fan on. I'm hot. Are striking they're saying producers are striking
See,
channels.
that's the whole thing. Now, that's alleged. That's what the
This
blogger
is
said.
all alleged, all
Right.
of it.
But I'm just saying that how can you come under the skies on YouTube, not being a blogger, but then people saying, allegedly that you striking their shit? That's just not right.
The
But
whole thing is a mess. I want no parts of it.
yeah,
Anyway, so that's what's going on. Congratulations, Porsha, for demanding that you are the highest paid. And how did you pull off? I get to go work for other networks. Girl, hats off to Porsha. Now, let's face this other very sticky topic. I did not want to do it. Perry made me do it. Um, that's Freddie. Okay, we'll do Housewives in the morning. I don't know. I can't pick up right now. Um, I don't know why Perry wanted to touch this subject. So Monique's son came out today and just dragged her. Okay, he really dragged her. This is nothing new. These two have been at it forever. Um, so that's how I'll start it out. I'm gonna say an unpopular opinion, okay, because I can't say everything and agree with you guys all the time. I'm allowed to have my own opinion. Please let me have my own opinion. It is what it is. Okay, so Monique went on. She went on Shannon Sharp's show. I mean, this has been fallout. How long was that show? Last week, that interview, and brought up her son. Did she say exactly, Perry, about the son?
Oh no, she was saying. I guess Shannon Sharp asked her. She was talking about being like starting off. It was hard being a parent, and it came with problems. And he said, "Well, how are you and your son relationship now?" She basically said, "We don't have one, and hopefully, in time, that maybe the universe will fix it." Basically,
right. And now
yeah.
this is not the first time she's talked about it. She was on a radio interview, I would say about 6 years ago, when she was saying when she was blackballed, she couldn't stay home. She had to go make money the only way that she could because she wasn't getting any acting gigs or television gigs. So she had to hit the road as a comedian. And she said, so she wasn't there to tuck her children in at night. She wasn't there to go to the football games or baseball games. She just wasn't a mother.
Right.
And she admitted to being a bad mom. I hope back then they straightened it out. It's not straightened out. So the son comes out today and speaks his piece. Now, I'm going to play this. It's very touchy. It's very touchy because he's allowed to feel how he feels, and no one's taking that away from him. Let me play first and then just get into it.
Okay.
Because I'm sure you guys all seen this video by now, but let's just hear what he has to say. This is sad. Really sad.
Hi, I am Shalon. I am a stand-up comedian, Monique's oldest son. I guess I felt the need to make this video to just provide some context into this false narrative about her praying to the universe in order to reconcile our relationship or whatever the hell it is. I wrote it all down so that way I don't go all over the place and get emotional or anything like that. So I'm gonna talk like I'm reading a script, but it's just gonna help me kind of stay together. But to address the Club Shay Shay interview that she did, where she states that she prays to the universe in regards to reconciling our relationship, as I stated, is odd. My mother and I both know that that is a very false narrative, and I would like to free her of having to continue telling that lie. Faith without work is dead, and neither one of us cares to put forth any effort to reconcile with the other. We are separate, as she put it, because she doesn't care to be my mother any more than I care to be her son. Neither one of us has had the desire to reach out to the other in a very long time, and I don't think that either of us anticipates that feeling ever returning. Speaking with my mother directly, in my experience, will either lead to some odd newfound moment of clarity in regards to how she was as my mother, or she retreats back to daddy to move forward with a conversation. And I'm tired of hearing my mother's truths. Newsflash, I'm not sure if people know, but standing in your truth doesn't make you noble. I'm not sure if people are aware of that. But responding this way, I feel as though it allows me to say my piece uninterrupted. To those wondering, well, why say something now? Call it a form of therapy for me, I suppose. But when her daddy had intentionally stated that they have 3 sons, but his wife is on the internet talking about the 4th son in a video that has millions of views, that rubbed me the wrong way. But anyway, to inform a child that you are not interested in being a mother at a time when that kid is the only kid that has the potential to lead a child to believe that you are not interested in them specifically. But to take it a step further, you also admit my mother had also admitted to me that she didn't do the best job that she could do, which would also make one begin to question, all of your past decisions and prior emotional interactions. But to be completely honest and fair, those were things that I was willing to get over. Nobody's perfect. We're all human. But my mother showed a clear lack of humility, compassion, and consideration when taking any level of accountability for those things. My mother does a fantastic job of acknowledging a lot of things, but she doesn't take accountability very well, and anything that she may take true accountability for, it's only at her convenience, in my experience. But if I had to guess, though, her interest in being a mother probably started around the time that she married her daddy and had his children. But that interest, obviously seemed one-sided, and as it should have been. By that time, I'm in my late teens, so to some degree, the the neglect becomes easier to hide or validate, I guess you could say. There are now 2 baby boys in the house, that require attention. But still during that time, however, I still watched her enjoy the love and admiration of total strangers more than my own. To this very day, my mother has never expressed to me when, if ever, she became interested in me as her son. That did lead me down a path of questioning my self-worth and struggling to understand the value of a mother in a child's life. In the interview, she also states that she gave me an apology, but an apology to a son from a mother that consciously showed no interest in him holds no weight. There are still women to this day that my mother will give credit to for being more of a mother to me than she ever could. Her assistant, my cousin, being one of them. Every time, though, that my mother would state that she was right here whenever I was ready, that ideology still blows my mind today, that a person could openly admit to being an uninterested, not put my best foot forward type of parent and be so self-centered that they still express to the kid, you have to come to me when you're ready. You got to come to me for us to make this right. Okay. But I'm not sure what my mother could possibly think that she has shown me in the past or have for me now that's not money, goodness gracious, that would make me want to come to her or whatever those feelings are supposed to be. A mother is supposed to be the first woman that a boy falls in love with. I loved my mother very much, but my mother loved things more than she loved me, and she would validate her love for me by giving me things and would proceed to call me ungrateful or inconsiderate if said things did not have the desired effect. I couldn't imagine what it's like to be her, though, to ask God for what you want, and then he gives you what you need, though, only for you to ignore it and have the audacity to ask God for something else. And I'm glad I don't. I'm glad I didn't do that. And when he told you no, you went to the universe instead. By no means, though, do I want to give off any type of an impression that I am a victim of anything. That is not the case. As you can see, I'm smiling from ear to ear. I'm alive. I'm happy. I'm a dad. I'm healthy, I think. I drink a lot of water. I'm getting over a cold now. I still have my days just like everybody else. And, there were a few things that she did teach me along the way. I did learn how not to love from my mother. I also learned to make sure that I never lose so much of who I am that I have to validate it through another person. And though I feel as though, in hindsight, I think she did it reluctantly, I do appreciate my mother, for showing me what the top of the mountain looks like. You know what I'm saying? It did give me perspective on what hard work and dedication can get you, but I don't want something like that at the cost of giving up something that I created.
All right. I feel that was enough. There's more, and I might play the rest later. This is very difficult, and I'm getting ready to have an unpopular opinion. So, Perry, and I can't help how I feel. I don't want to piss anyone off in the chat, but why have a channel and not tell your experience? I mean, and my mother, I just see my mother in the chat. I did not expect her to be in the chat, but this is what I have to say. This is very sad for both parties. And my mom is my best friend now. But my mother was a young mother. Both my parents were very young parents, and they grew up in trauma. And I used to always feel that my mom treated me different than she treated my sister. And looking back, she did. But one day I woke up and I was upset. Oh, she gets that, and no, I don't, and I wanted a stay-at-home mom. My mom had a thriving career, was pretty much the breadwinner, and that made us latchkey kids. And I just wanted my mom to be home and give me all the attention. And people make mistakes. Life isn't perfect. That's what I would have wanted, but I didn't get that.
Mm-hmm.
I had to grow up and say, and took a real good look at my mother, just like Monique. Monique was raised in trauma. She was violated for half of her life. That's not easy to get over. To say that you don't have the parenting skills because what happened to her is not an excuse. It's true. Sometimes you have to give yourself, and Perry's about to choke me, which others can't give you. If I would have harped on the fact that my mom treated my sister better my whole life, I'd have been bitter and crying all the time. I had to grow up and realize, oh, she does treat us different because we got two opposite personalities, and she's dealing with her own childhood.
Mm-hmm.
Get over it. I please don't get mad at me, you guys. Please. At some point, you have to be responsible for your own life. And realize my mother is who she is. Maybe she doesn't know how to love because she was given one of the worst childhoods ever known. But you got to start looking at life through your adult eyes. Then when you take things to the public, you're asking for others to get in your business. How can we not comment on this? Because if this was a normal conversation and I wasn't a blogger, I would say that's sad. I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got to rise above it and realize your mom is flawed. She might not ever be what you want her to be, but she's still your mother. And then when I start looking at my mother like that, my mom is my best friend. But what if I would have kept pointing out all her flaws and crying about it?
No, I sure like that. I do understand. Like, it's sad on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
When you go and give me the backdrop of Monique's upbringing, how she was a young mother, and a lot of young mothers, it's hard for every parent raising kids. Let's keep it real, right? Whether you got two in the house or one. But at the same time, you said that you had to get a grip with it. Did you get a grip at it at 18, 20? It takes time, right, to heal or to figure things out. And I think the part that you could be missing is when you get to that point and you and your mother had a conversation, y'all came to a meeting of the minds, right? Mm-hmm. But what if you never given this opportunity? Because I feel like this kid is hurt. He feel like he was thrown away and rejected for a lot of reasons. Because we could talk about how bad Monique's life was, and just because he lived in the lights with cable and got financial things, he didn't get that love, right?
And he might not never get it, Perry.
Right, no, I get it. Okay, no, but you gave me a background, and we know Monique's background. I'm just simply saying that it's a hard thing for a lot of families, and that this is just not on this social media. And with this case, a lot of families deal with this in many different kind of forms and fashions of ways, right? That you can just deal with it. But I just think that this kid feel this way, and he has the right to feel that way. And maybe he's not there yet to fully grip. You know what? This is life. He got a child now, so maybe that'll help him get through it. To say, hey, you know what? My mother is who she is. But I think as a mother, when you say that I had to worry about my career, yeah, I didn't do things right. I apologize. But it's nothing worse than somebody, because I get it. I don't really want to go that deep with my family, but I'm sorry. They'll say things like they apologize, right? Oh, yeah, I apologize, but with no action behind it. So the apology don't mean a damn thing to that person. And I'm not trying to erase that person's background or their capability of being a great mother or whatever. But that other person has the same right, and they're hurting. And because right now, still today, this guy, part of him, still want his
But
mother
Perry,
reach
how
out
long?
to
How
reach out
long?
and make amends. Well, you know what though? That's up for him to decide.
And when you take stuff public, what are you doing?
Okay,
That's
right.
asking
Well,
for, that's pouring gasoline on a fire.
I get it. When and none of it should have been on social media. She shouldn't have brung up the fourth child, right? 'Cause they was talking about their three kids. She brung up the fourth one that was estranged. So that shouldn't have happened either. So we're gonna put accountability on both sides. And he reacted. And half the time when we react, it don't necessarily mean we're gonna react the right way. He might look at this tomorrow, the next day, and say, "Well, hey, I should have just kept that to myself or whatever."
Mhm.
But now that it's out there, we talking about. I think both of them is going through pain. I mean, because I'm sure she got guilt
But
and he feel
but
hurt. Go ahead.
hear me out, Perry. You also, people forget this. Your father wasn't the best. I loved him, but
No,
he had his problems too.
right.
How long are we going to point the finger at Monique and say you didn't do this and you're terrible and you didn't do that and you didn't do this, all which is true. But if you keep doing that, no healing's going to begin.
Yeah.
Monique and Daddy's response was gross and cringy. I have the response that I didn't even listen to, so I'm going to play the response. Do you hear what I'm saying? Like,
No, I mean, Sharrell, like I'm saying, that part I do, right? But it seemed like, and I love you to death. It seemed like you pointing more on how Monique might feel in her positioning, right? And you neglecting to look at his position. I just feel like
I
that
feel
you're
like there's actions
overlooking
to
it.
consequence. If he would have pulled his mother over in private and talked about it, or even be estranged in private, the minute you go public,
Right. Okay.
then you can't handle anything
And
in
I say
public.
this, and as far as my knowledge, he never went public about this before
No, he
until
did not.
after she mentioned the fourth child when they was talking about
But
three.
Perry,
That's strange. I'm just saying he has
how
that
can
right.
I give you what I don't have? He's asking for love and affection and a good parent. She's incapable. She's
Okay,
damaged
okay, right.
herself.
I get what you're saying, but how he's looking through the window, because I feel like he never got that. But it seems to him like the other kids was getting that. And if you think a person incapable of giving love, when you look through the window and see, hey, she giving these other kids love, it can make whether it's true or not. The other kids could be going through the same thing
Mhm.
because she said she sacrificed a lot doing her career. She's sacrificing a lot now with her career now. And people say, well, how can you keep going after Oprah? How can you keep going focusing on these people and want them to take accountability when truly you ain't taking accountability for yourself with your own son? So I mean, it's bad on both sides, and I definitely understand what you're saying. It's like being a parent is hard because nobody's perfect, and it don't come with no damn manual on how to do it.
It's bad. Let's listen to the response. Let me read the super chat. Did you see that fake story her husband sent TYT and Undisputed? Are they talking about YouTube channels? Oh, young, okay, that the Illuminati put a hit on her yesterday? No, I did not see that. They're talking about Rashad Ricky, Undisputable? That
Yeah, I
has to
guess
be
so.
it. Wow. This story can't get any worse. Anyway, let's listen to some of the rebuttal. It's not good. The rebuttal isn't good. I'm going to warn you guys. Ryan says, she brought up how she was a bad mom for sympathy. Ooh. To look like she is self-aware and being accountable. From his point of view, she was being fake. If we just keep going back and forth and pointing out each other's flaws, when does the healing begin?
The sad part,
When I got to the other side with my mom, it's the best thing that ever happened to me.
Right.
We're not going to get to the other side if he keeps pointing out each other's flaws, if he keeps asking her for something she doesn't have.
Okay. Well, you said how long can it go? Some people go through their whole lifetime without that healing, without having that relationship. And as far as like, until you saying, well, how long is he going to keep waiting on it? Probably for the rest of his life. And until he gets to a certain point and move on. You got back together with your mother, meeting their minds, right? But if she's never capable of giving it to him, he never will receive it. You know, the love and stuff that he's wanting. So it's sad, but it's a lot of parents who, out there, that their child would never receive that.
Now, I'm going to play this response. This response is not good, okay? Because all he really needed was a hug and for her to say how special he is. And that's what he needed. So, but Monique is damaged. And I don't know about Sydney, but I'm going to bet that he's damaged too. These are childhood traumas that some people never get over, huh?
He's controlling. But go ahead.
You're messy. Let's put this out. Here we go, guys. It's not good.
Off with, there was Instagram that was put up, or I guess
it was TikTok, baby.
TikTok that was put up by
my son, my oldest son, Sharrell. And this is what I want to say to this. There are some people that are saying, oh, you should be ashamed of your mothering skills. You should be ashamed of yourself. This is what I'll say. Let's let it play out. Because the same ones that said to me I was crazy, I was deranged, we watched it play out. So just like with my son, we'll watch this play out. And I do want to address this though, Shalon. When you say her daddy, then that's when mommy gonna say stop playing, because you know this has been Uncle Sid your whole life. Uncle Sid knew you before you knew you. So for you to say her 3 sons, yes, you're absolutely right. He has 3 sons. He can't claim you as his son because he's always been Uncle Sid, and he knows your daddy very well.
And love that brother. And the irony of all of this is not what is said, but what's left off.
Yes.
See, you're leaving off the fact that the last time we laid eyes on you, your mother got you everything you needed for the newborn baby about 3 years ago. You're forgetting about how I, from Georgia, am talking you through getting your car after we gave you the half the down payment for it, and you were 31 years of age, 32 years of age at that point, and I'm negotiating the deal with the dealer for you as you sit there. And you have the vehicle you're driving right now because of your mother. These are the things that you're leaving out when you're expressing what you're expressing in reference to your mother. You're not expressing the relationship that you have with your father, where you spoke ill to him, not to mention spoke ill to your mother, but somehow your mother and father and I all have a loving relationship and communicate back and forth because of the love that we have for you. The one thing these individuals, and to the individuals out here that oftentimes speak after they've heard one side of the story, there's an old saying, believe half of what you see and none of what it is that you hear. Please don't take our word for it, but what we will convey is this. Those who are parents and have raised their parents up to being adults.
The children raise their children up to being adults.
Right on. Those parents that raise their children into adulthood know that there comes a time and a place in which they determine their own decisions, their own path. You can have multiple children that are raised in one house, but they act and they take on different things. The reason why it was so important for us to entertain these conversations that we typically have privately, or that we're influenced to have privately amongst the people in our community, is because we need to stop being embarrassed about being human beings. You will oftentimes hear us saying we are embarrassing ourselves in front of them. Who is them?
Who are they?
Because when you hear someone articulate these things, that is the slave's mentality. That makes us believe that we as black people need to conduct ourselves with dignity because white people are watching. You should conduct yourself with dignity because the spirit of you is watching.
And from there, when you were saying earlier about how we're looking in front of white folks. When I do hear our brother Greg Mathis say, the studio is watching y'all and the executives are watching y'all, so what?
If the executives are watching closely, the individuals that would want to interact with us are those who are engaged and are in alignment with what is true.
Someone, whoever it is, and y'all have been hearing what we've been saying, but someone or somebody's will send a death threat, all because this little fat black girl and her husband telling the truth. Not because we stole nothing. Not because we hurt somebody. We didn't rob nobody. Just because they're telling the truth. So what we're saying to you young babies right now, keep telling the truth. Let nothing stop you from telling the truth.
There's so much wrong with that. I don't even know where to begin. Let me make it quick, Perry, and then I'll let you speak your piece. First of all, Sydney, why are you in this? This is between a mother and her son. You putting your 2 cents in, not now, and then doing it publicly. Monique, I feel like you shouldn't have came out public and responded to your son. You know he's talking from a place of hurt. What is this how's this gonna solve anything if you are talking about it in public? And 2, no one acknowledged his feelings. You kind of like blamed him. You know that's your Uncle Sidney, and the reason we have you calling him that is because you called him the whole time. It just was a disaster. I just wish she wouldn't have responded publicly. Carrie, what are your thoughts on the response?
Right. And see, that's the whole thing. I'm starting to see this thing a little different kind of ways. I'm not even sure if Monique wanted to respond. She just had to accompany Sydney, who wanted to respond. Because with this whole response, Sydney needs to shut the fuck up. Right? Let's keep it real, right? I'm saying, especially with this. Now, if you're doing something else, cutting the grass, managing the bills or something, do that. This is not your business. You don't call the guy son. You say he got a father. And then for you to come on here and not really truly let her talk. You doing all the talking. We ain't talking about your damn kids, right? We ain't talking about your kids. And then you want to say, well, he's full of shit because his mother done a lot for him. Remember 3 years ago, she brought all your kids baby stuff.
This is bad.
You ain't mentioned nothing beyond the 3 years where she reached out to try to salvage the relationship between her and her son. And maybe I'm starting to think because he don't want it.
Wait a minute. You're the first person I hear this all day that said this all day. You feel that Sydney doesn't want Monique to have a relationship with her son?
I'm starting to feel that way because I think this, right? Now, if you really start thinking about it, he keep calling him daddy, right? Because that's what Monique called him.
Right.
They saying that he typically call him uncle, which makes you think out, why is okay? The kid got his own father. Maybe Sydney was a friend of theirs when they had a baby, and then
right.
in. That's confusing too. Now you got this guy you call uncle that you might see down at the corner, but now he up in mama's bedroom.
Mm.
a problem, and you the oldest one. You know what I'm saying? You going through this, and Sydney ain't trying to lay claim on him because anything he do with him, he got to deal with the father, right? Sydney is all about the power control to me, and I think all this was Sydney's idea to come back to respond because the son, when he said that, got underneath his skin because the kid kept saying "daddy." Sydney didn't like that, you know. I mean, and basically, the kid feel like, yeah, you may not be capable to love your kids or raise kids, but you damn so capable of not loving a kid, but loving daddy.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody in the chat will tell you if Monique don't love nothing else, is daddy. And he love all that power and all that stuff, and he want to keep it separated. I think.
Roberta says, Sharrell, you sound like you're taking her side. He's talking about Monique. She called his name and he is clearing it up, just like she's clearing it up with about Tyler Perry. They are not equal, mother and child. Okay, I don't want you to spend any more money, Roberta, but what is she saying to me? She's saying that
She said, okay,
it's the mom's the mother, and it's her responsibility to fix it, and she's acting inappropriate as a mom. Is that what she's saying?
right. And she's saying that by giving the excuses of how bad and stuff is excusing Monique's behavior of being a mother, saying she's not capable.
Now
I mean,
you're
it goes both ways. Go ahead.
I was gonna say you're right, Roberta. It, okay, Roberta, just hear me out because this a lot. I said I have an unpopular opinion, and Perry, you were saying too. She's the mom; it's her responsibility to fix it. But I just
At least try.
how do I give you something I don't have? What if I don't know how to fix it, Roberta? What if I don't know how to fix it? I want to, but emotionally, I just don't have the tools to do it. Does that make sense?
No, that's possible. I mean, a person can't walk that's unable to walk. So that's possible. But I'm starting to see here, right here, Sharrell, that like
it's complicated.
she's saying she might be incapable of fixing it. She could be capable of fixing it. Sydney don't want it fixed.
Now that this is a whole nother layer you're putting on here, Perry. I've never heard anybody saying this. You feel that Sydney is the cause of Monique not having a relationship with her son.
He's interfering to me. If anything, look, if you and your mother was going through some stuff, it's not my responsibility that I would say, hey, Sharrell, go and talk to your mother. He's not, and he's supposed to be this quote unquote great husband. Now, his kids is fine.
Yeah.
Allegedly, you know what I'm saying? They okay. But why ain't he telling her as a husband, manager, whatever, hey, you know what? That's your son, Monique. If you truly cared about that person, you would say, hey, go and fix this. Now, I can't tell you the reason why he don't definitely want it fixed. It might be at this point, he don't want no other mature person close to her giving her advice.
That's a possibility, an ugly possibility, because it's really going to muddy up the situation. Sydney is the problem. Monique is in the sunken place. That's what Stephen Smith was trying to tell her when she said her light dimmed. Get out. Stephen Smith. You're Stephen A. Smith?
Yeah. I mean, Stephen A. Smith, yeah.
This is a mess. Let's keep taking, I don't know.
No, I look, Sharrell, I understand what you're saying, though. I mean, and we can give anybody an out and say, oh, well, I hope this person can do better and work out their problem. What if they ain't capable? At least try. Because when she come out and Sydney is not there, she shows some kind of compassion, like she probably wished her and her son had a relationship.
It's ugly. It's ugly. I don't see a solution. It's just ugly, and they need therapy. Sydney and her son, not Sydney, Monique and her son. He needs to stay out of it. But I can't just blame him for everything. Monique is broken.
Oh, blame who for everything?
I can't blame Sydney for everything. Monique is broken. Her son is hurt.
Yeah.
Sydney is at this point putting his nose where it doesn't belong, or he's not helping the situation.
Mhm.
And it's just sad. And I just want healing, because every family should try to, it's just sad. And, and I still think that her son should understand that my mom is flawed, horribly flawed, and she might not ever be the mother I need her to be. And sometimes you just got to heal yourself and move forward and say, this is my mom. She's horribly flawed. She didn't love me like I needed to be loved, but I love her and I still want her in my life. That's how I think it should end. Someone says, facts, period. A good husband would have been encouraging their wife to fix the relationship with a child that's not theirs. He's horrible. Now, yeah, it is. The son wants her to take accountability the same way she demands Tyler Perry and Oprah for her grievances and experience with them.
And this is what I think about that too. Like at a certain point, she do publicly take somewhat accountability by saying she knows she was a bad mother. She give the reasons why. Mm-hmm. And then she gave the apology. But I understand what the son's saying. The apology is one thing, but where is the action? Right? Where's the action? Mm-hmm. Like at a certain point, I feel like this. I don't care if he was 50 and she was 80. I think it's the parent responsibility to try to fix it with their kid. And I'm really starting to think that the problem, Monique is broken, but most users capitalize more with somebody's broken, which means Sydney get away with more if you keep this girl in this dim light situation where she's broken. And then you only want that want to be around her to feed her the stuff you want her to know. So, I mean, because she really look up to Sydney as, she call him daddy. But she really look at him as her spiritual advisor, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I never looked at it like that. Yeah.
When that person got that kind of control over you, I mean, the whole playground is theirs now. And maybe, like I said, the other kids ain't there yet. And then there's a lot of things going on. That kid ain't his, but the other ones are. Now, whether they adopted them, whatever, but whatever.
If Sydney's,
those his kids. Mm-hmm. That's why some, blended families don't work out, because the kids don't get the same treatment. And I get it, her coming up, not knowing how to be a mother. But, if you learn how to cook breakfast for the two new ones, it's not too late for you to cook breakfast for the oldest one. And that's the part. And he'll go back, we gave you half the down payment for the car. That's financial shit. He's saying, where's the love?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sydney definitely needs to have a seat. And I'm hoping that one of them, the son, I think if the son called and asked Monique to go to therapy, she would go. Monique needs to reach out to him to go to therapy. They need therapy. And then they both need individual therapy, because Monique has been through, and I know I'm not forgiving her, but we have to remember, when you've been when you've been touched, sometimes people never get over it. She needs therapy. Right. She definitely was not a good mom, and she admits it. This is a mess, and I hate to see it. And what is he talking about? Don't act this way in front of white people. Well, you're just trying to muddy up the waters. This is a mother and son that need to reconcile, and you're just throwing in problems that aren't even there. Sorry, go ahead, Perry.
And if you went further than that, and see, because like the son came out with that response, it's not too much more. They're going to talk about the son on that clip. Then he started to insinuate that the son got a mental problem.
Now, see, I'm done.
No,
you're saying that Sydney insinuated that the son had a mental problem. So now that's he's the problem. He's not the only problem, but he's a big part of the problem. Sydney needs to have several seats and shut up. And Monique, stop listening to him about everything. That's your son. And you even admitted yourself that you weren't the perfect mother. Bring some healing to this situation. Jacqueline says, Perry, I agree with you. Remove the strength out. I can have control.
Yeah. And then he go on to speak, and you would think, really, even as a stepfather or an uncle, whatever the hell your title is supposed to be in this dynamic, that you'll be worrying about your wife's feelings with her son saying, coming out responding, that this whole video would have simply been about her and her son. You know, we had this short segment so he can get revenge because the guy kept calling him daddy, and like a funny kind of way, right? He didn't like that. Then he goes on to talk about all the other things, Tyler Perry, Oprah's, and stuff like this, and how he really want to make things right. Now he wants to unite when you can't unite with your wife's son.
And this popped in my head. If he's acting this way on camera, ain't no telling what kind of treatment he gave her son behind Monique's back. He's a huge part of the problem. And it's just sad.
Right now, Monique is there doing this whole thing. It's supposed to be her interview, her channel. But she's more like a backup choir. You know how he'll come out and be the lead. When he go, rain, she back there, let it rain. You know what I'm saying? It's your thing. She should be the one out front, not Sydney's ass. Sydney need to go and take several seats. And this not managing this thing. He wanted to get to where the money was. And maybe that Tyler Perry, the Oprahs. You know,
this is horrible.
He want to make amends to that. But really, to be honest with you, because I watch a lot of these crime shows and crazy stuff. So if my thinking get out there, it's probably for this. And I think that he could want the son estranged, like away from the family, to where make sure he ain't on no kind of will.
Perry, that's not unusual. You know, relationships get crazy. Renee says, I think he wants what no Neek will ever be able to give him. The childhood that his siblings received. She can never give him that. She can never give him that. I just feel bad. Because this is ugly. And I hope I'm going to pray. I never pray about stories that too often, but pray that this gets better. And I got my eye on Sydney. Like, it is a mess. This is horrible. One more. Evil stepdaddy is what he is. I mean, I'm starting to think so, Quita, I really do. It's also obvious that he's a part of the problem with her diminishing career. Oh, well, yeah. Y'all can keep these type of husbands. It's bad. Okay, listen, you guys, I'm gonna wrap this up. Freddie, I'm gonna call you as soon as I'm done. Hopefully, you guys, we can come back tomorrow with Freddie and talk about what's going on behind the scenes at the OWN network and Bravo. Mostly OWN. OWN is falling apart. Congratulations, Porsha, for becoming the highest paid housewife and a real boss. And Monique, please call your son. Son, don't give up on mom. Don't give up on mom. Please, we only get one mom. And I know she did you wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying hopefully one day y'all can fix it.
Yeah.
Now, why am I getting emotional? I never.
Before we end this, I want to send prayers out to Monique and her son too, for both of them to heal. You know what I'm saying? Like, because even though you wasn't a perfect mother, or could have been a bad mother for 20 years, life is still going on. Don't be a bad mother for the next 30.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's try to work it out, find a compromise. And I truly think that if she could ever get out of, go by herself, not with Sydney, and actually try to address her son, and just at this point, her son probably just want a simple hug and privacy, and instead of somebody else whispering in your ear what to say. That's what I'm thinking.
All right, you guys, we'll see you tomorrow. This was an emotional one for me. I don't know what happened. Take us out, Perry.
So everybody, thanks for joining.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. You guys.
Bye, everybody.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.